Welcome. It's another beautiful day and I've got my coffee. Let's watch some stuff.
We've all probably heard this one many times over our lifetime. I know I usually hear it as you only use 10% or so of your brain, but I want you to know that that's false. You use 100% of your brain. You see, the body isn't going to waste resources on cells that aren't doing anything, right? Think to someone who's maybe broken a limb and they're in a cast or a sling, right? When you're not using those muscles, the muscle cells themselves atrophy. It's when they get smaller in size. Why waste resources on inactive cells when the active ones need those resources? If you only used 10% of your brain, that would mean the rest of the brain would start to shrivel away. Now, could you make more synapses? Absolutely. Could you maybe study harder, learn more knowledge, and really actualize the potential of the brain? Sure, but I don't want you to think that you're only using 10%. That's just this weird myth that has pervaded all of society.
I heard another story that pertains to that 10% that we believe, and I'm going to say it wrong because I always do, but I'm going to get the gist of it. Is that anytime an individual has some kind of damage to their brain, an injury of some kind, they test this person, are you able to recognize colors and speech and this, that, and the other thing? And then, they're able to publish, okay, with this portion of the brain damaged, we know that this person can still do X, Y, and Z, and et cetera, et cetera. And so what they had said was that they know what 10% of the brain does based on that process of elimination is what I'm assuming. But yeah, we use a lot more of our brain than we thought. Hey, I just wanted to take a second and thank you for joining me for today's coffee talk. If you're having a good time, maybe you'd consider hitting that subscribe button and come back tomorrow because I am making a new video every day.
What transpired on the mysterious Easter Island? Situated in one of the most isolated places on Earth, Easter Island is home to over 800 Moai statues that tower more than 40 feet high, their stoic expressions captivating visitors from around the world. While it is believed that the island's inhabitants, the Rapa Nui people, constructed these statues, the greater conundrum lies in their transportation and purpose. Recently, it was revealed that these statues originally possessed complete torsos and bodies, making their transportation seemingly unattainable, even by today's standards. This discovery has only fueled further curiosity and speculation. Numerous theories propose that the statues might have been crafted by a far more advanced civilization, or that they were once giants turned to stone by a cataclysmic occurrence, perhaps as a warning or testament to future generations. Despite extensive debate and various studies conducted over the years, many individuals continue to ask the question.
In the last few months, I have just started exploring the possibilities of these civilizations, these advanced civilizations. And it has been like a brain changer, like for real. And I had never even thought about these Easter Island statues. And there are dates. There's like 1100 to 1600, and then there's like 1400 to 1600 is when they were believed to have been built and carved and whatever they're doing and why they're buried up to their necks. I don't know. But I never even thought that it's a possibility that they were created by a more advanced civilization, one of the previous advanced civilizations, right? Because from what I recall, and we all know that when I recall something, it's not always right because, well, education, my education wasn't necessarily right. Everything's changed. But from what I recall, they're not 100% certain on how these were built and who built them and why they were built or carved or whatever it was, right? So that's a pretty cool thought.
The worst year to be alive. Have you ever wondered what the worst year to be alive was? According to some historians, it's not the year 1349, when the Black Death wiped out half of Europe. And it's not 1918, when the flu ended the lives of anywhere from 50 to 100 million people. The worst year to be alive was the year 536, when basically everything that could go wrong in the world did. There's a reason they call this time the Dark Ages. For 18 months, a mysterious fog plunged Europe, the Middle East, and parts of Asia into darkness day and night. A Roman politician named Cassiodorus wrote that the sun had a bluish color, the moon lost its luster, and the seasons seemed to be all jumbled together. He marveled at not being able to see his own shadow at noon. This was the result of a volcanic eruption in Iceland in early 536 that spread massive clouds of ash across the northern hemisphere, blocking out the sun. For those 18 months, half of the globe was plunged into constant darkness. Starting in the year 536, temperatures plummeted across Europe and Asia. It snowed in parts of China where it never snows. Crops and irrigation failed, leading to mass starvation. In 540 and 541, 2 more volcanic eruptions occurred, making things even worse. The new Little Antique Ice Age began in the spring of 536 and didn't end until about the year 680 in Central Asia. But somehow that's not even the worst of it. These catastrophic global events led to the outbreak of the Justinian Plague, the first known outbreak of the bubonic plague. This resulted in anywhere from 30 to 50 million people losing their lives. That's about half the world's population, making the year 536.
Kids these days think they've got it so hard, don't they? Try surviving a volcanic eruption and the plague. I don't think they talk about this stuff in school anymore. I know I learned about it in school, and I think that made me appreciate, having it as easy as we do. But my generation was also the last generation that got spanked. And we should probably bring back some spanking. Kids have no respect these days. I don't think they teach that stuff in school anymore. Otherwise, these kids would realize, you got it easy. I realize I got a little off track there, but it doesn't ring any less true. People are like, "Oh, this is the worst time to be alive." No, it's been a lot worse. It's been a lot worse.
Whistleblower Corey Good of the Secret Space Program talks about alien technology.
They started out showing me was how they observe us. They sit in these chairs and they will observe us at home or at work. And they have a readout. They know what we're thinking and what we're postulating. Like if a scientist is sitting there and he's very close to a breakthrough, but not quite there, they'll just do this little ball thing comes up and floats, and they're messing around that kind of like a mouse tracker. And they'll do things with it, and they'll give people a download, an informational download, and the information comes in like a zip file, and then it just unzips inside the person. It's like original thought to the person. And they've been doing that. And what's weird is they do that to maintain the timeline, but it's also their entertainment. It's like watching television. Some of them will follow, it's almost like a soap opera. They will follow us for like 5 generations. They'll see a person, they'll be, oh, you remember his great-great-grandfather, how he would act that way? He kind of looks like him too. They follow us that long because they live over 900 years. So, I mean, that was a little disturbing. And I don't know, when you think you're alone, you spend your time a lot differently after, you wear a towel when you wouldn't normally wear a towel. Because, I mean, they're probably floating around here right now observing us.
I don't think I like that theory. And it's not because I don't like being watched, because nobody likes being watched, right? But there's a lot of people on the planet. Are there that many aliens out there that they can watch us all? Or like, do they have like this alien's in charge of that segment? It's too many. It's too many people. I'm not the guy. How special does that guy think we are that aliens want to sit down and watch us? I don't like that theory. I don't think it's right. I think it's inaccurate. That's too many people to watch for too many time. Even though they do live for 900 years, why would they want to sit around and watch us? You gotta have something better to do. Come down, say hello. Stop all this watching, it's weird.
If a spoonful of brain is removed, will memory really be lost? Back in 1980, a British university student named Mark discovered that his head was constantly swelling, accompanied by severe pain. He visited the hospital for a cork scan, and when the doctors received the report, they were shocked. Inside Mark's skull, apart from the spinal fluid, there was only a thin layer of brain matter as thin as paper. While the average weight of a normal human brain is around 1,400 grams, Mark's brain weighed only 300 grams. Surprisingly, his daily life was was not significantly impacted, and his IQ was as high as 126 when the doctors published Mark's case in a scientific journal. It quickly caused a sensation and prompted people to ponder whether humans really need a complete brain. Later, an even more miraculous event came to public attention. In 2002, a man named Jason Patchett from the United States was attacked by a group of thugs on his way home, leading to a head injury and subsequent coma. When he woke up, he astonishingly discovered that he had become highly sensitive to mathematical and geometrical subjects, swiftly calculating complex formulas and principles. Patchett had developed acquired savant syndrome, meaning that when one part of the brain is damaged, the other half forces itself to further develop to compensate for the damaged part, unlocking the full potential of the entire brain. This suggests that even if a portion of the brain is removed, it may not necessarily take away one's memory and might, in rare cases, lead to the emergence of a genius. However, it's still advisable not to experiment casually with such situations, considering that only around 40 people worldwide have experienced this syndrome so far. Moreover, our brains contain over 100 billion neurons, intricately interconnected. Once damaged, the consequences are unimaginable.
The brain is so complex. Like how that one guy had like next to nothing of his brain there and he was still fully functional. That's incredible. And how different centers of your brain do different things. It's interesting how in some situations when a portion of the brain is damaged, the brain finds a way to make those connections and make things still work. I mean, not every time, obviously, but it's still interesting.
Have you heard of the hollow earth theory before? What if it wasn't just a theory? Some claim that an ancient advanced civilization lives beneath the ground, with elites secretly aware of it. Allegedly, these elites, including politicians and scientists, conduct covert expeditions to access underground cities. Supposedly, these hidden discoveries include advanced technology and energy sources that they withhold from the public to maintain control. While mainstream scientists discredit these notions, believers see anomalies in some satellite images, and some of the pictures that shows a giant hole in the ice and historical records as proof of a vast hidden civilization. And what supports this theory is that in 2017, German geologist and his team collected core samples from deep within the frozen Antarctic seafloor. And what they discovered was astonishing. They saw more than 60 different taxa of plants, similar to something that you would find in a rainforest, in a temperature regime that was similar to what we today know from northern Italy. However, these theories remain unproven, with clear evidence confirming their validity or not. Because until today, there is no clear explanation. What do you think?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not 100% sold on it, but it wouldn't surprise me if some of the previous advanced civilizations technology is still, alive and well down there underneath the earth and they're hiding it. They being, these elites or super smart people or governments or whatever. And once in a while, they pull a little piece of technology out and they're like, here, let's introduce this to the world and make a whole bunch of money off of it or whatever they're going to do. Yeah. And then that's where they're going to hide when the reset happens. If they don't have a millionaire friend with a bunker, they're going to go and hide in the hollow earth. I don't know. I'm not sold, but like I said, I wouldn't be surprised.
Why the Book of Enoch, banned from the Bible, reveals shocking secrets of our history. The Book of Enoch is an ancient Jewish religious text that is considered to be non-canonical by most Jewish and Christian denominations. The book is believed to have been written in the 2nd or 3rd century BC, and it contains a variety of unique and fascinating material. One of the most notable aspects of the Book of Enoch is its account of the origins of demons and Nephilim. According to the book, the Nephilim were the offspring of fallen angels and human women. The Nephilim were giants who were extremely wicked and violent. God eventually destroyed the Nephilim in the Great Flood, but their spirits remained on earth and became demons. The Book of Enoch also contains a number of other interesting revelations, such as a detailed description of the heavens and the afterlife, a prophecy of the Messiah and his coming kingdom, an account of the creation of the world and the fall of humanity, a warning against sin and wickedness. The Book of Enoch was banned from the Bible by the early church fathers because it contained material that was considered to be heretical. For example, the book's account of the fallen angels and the Nephilim was seen as a challenge to the Christian doctrine of original sin. Despite being banned from the Bible, the Book of Enoch has continued to be read and studied by both Jews and Christians alike. The book is a valuable source of information about the beliefs and practices of ancient Judaism, and it also contains a number of important insights into the Christian faith.
I find it very interesting how, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, how this book of Enoch was originally part of scripture. And then it was like they decided, no, we can't have that in there. I find that very interesting how things can be just pushed aside, and how I've heard people, that are very religious. They're like, oh, I won't read it. I won't read it because it like tests their faith in God or something like that. I really don't. I really don't know. Maybe I'll have to read it. I don't know. Well, that's going to be the end of it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate your time, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Here's my cutting room floor.
3, 2, 1.
It's another beautiful day, and I've got my coffee. I kind of dumped it on myself, didn't I? Oh my goodness. Okay. Excuse me a second while I get really close. 50 years, I don't even remember when it was. It was a while ago. It was in my lifetime where they're like, hey, by the way, did you know this? And we're like, what? And that's crazy too, right? And I think that's rad. And there has been a intelligent, not intelligent. Now I'm unintelligent. I can't even remember. I don't remember. Give me a second. Let me figure that out. So that's a pretty cool, theory. Is that a theory? Is it a theory? I don't know if it's a theory or if it's just my thought. It's probably just my thought. Kids these days think they've got it so hard, don't they? Do a job, work 8 hours, and shut up about it. They're just sitting there like a glass observation room, and here we are being observed. Like they're watching all of us at all the times. That's too many people to be watching for so many time. I don't like it. I don't like that one. Brain damage. It is brain damage. It's actually damaged. It's damaged. That's why that portion is not there. Okay. I didn't look into anything. I didn't look at anything. I'm not going to say that I looked into anything because I didn't look into anything because I didn't want to. I didn't want to do any research. I want to be baffled. I want to be behooved. I want to be unaware of what I'm saying because it's better that way. Oh, don't go, messing with your brain or whatever, trying to make yourself a savant. Whatever that is, that's crazy. Don't do that. That's not a good thing. Don't go diddling inside your brain because you're going to turn yourself into a dumb